5 episodes of Star Trek, the original series season 2, you can completely skip. What if I told you that not all Star Trek episodes are worth your time? That some adventures of Captain Kirk and his crew might actually be better left forgotten? You might think every episode of Star Trek, the original series, is a classic, but season 2 holds some dark secrets about episodes that, well, you can completely skip. Today, I'm going to reveal the episodes from season 2 that fans, and even casual viewers, wish they never had to sit through. The episodes that drag down the legacy of this iconic sci-fi series. If you think you know Star Trek, think again, because what I'm about to expose will change how you watch the Enterprise forever. Stay with me, because the truth is stranger and more disappointing than you expect. Star Trek. The original series gave us legendary characters, epic space battles, and groundbreaking social commentary. But Season 2 also gave us episodes stuck in the 1960s, sometimes painfully so. Low budgets, outdated stereotypes, bizarre plots that don't hold up, these are just a few reasons some episodes feel like a chore rather than a thrill. Take the Apple, for example. It sounds like paradise, right? A lush planet ruled by a mysterious computer named Vol. But the truth? The Enterprise ends up destroying the only structure keeping the locals alive. They free a people who have no clue how to survive on their own. And that's just the start. There are episodes that feature ridiculous Halloween-themed witches, or cringeworthy wigs, or even scenes where characters do things that feel out of line with their personalities. Like Dr. McCoy slapping a pregnant woman? Yes, Star Trek Season 2 sometimes stumbles hard, and when it does, it leaves fans wondering, why did they even make this episode? Here's what the Star Trek insiders and hardcore fans don't always admit. Some episodes were rushed or written to fill time, not to tell a good story. Catspaw, for instance, is the only Halloween-themed episode ever made, and it shows. With laughably bad effects and a nonsensical plot about evil witches, it quickly became a fan favorite to mock. Friday's Child tries to mix politics and drama with Klingon tensions, but ends up feeling bland, and has a questionable scene where Dr. McCoy slaps a heavily pregnant guest star. That moment alone makes many viewers cringe. And then there's Wolf in the Fold, which attempts a murder mystery with horror elements, but instead delivers outdated sexist remarks that even Spock oddly echoes. Yes, even Spock, Mr. Logic himself, says women are more easily terrified. But perhaps the worst offender? The Omega Glory. A wild episode that borrows heavily from American patriotism in a way that feels out of place and unintentionally hilarious. Imagine a planet with an identical US flag, Pledge of Allegiance, and Constitution. It's a bizarre and baffling choice that nearly derails the entire series' credibility. So, are you brave enough to admit which episodes really drag down Star Trek's legendary legacy? If you've suffered through any of these or think I'm onto something, comment proof right now. Let's expose the episodes that time forgot. Because the Enterprise deserves better than these misfires. Stay tuned for the full countdown, where I'll reveal all 5 episodes of Star Trek, the original series season 2, you can skip without missing a beat. Let's dive deeper. First up, the Apple. At first glance, a planet that seems like paradise sounds like a great adventure. The crew lands, meets the locals, and wait for it, a giant computer named Vol controls everything. Sounds intriguing, right? But here's the catch. Vol isn't some benevolent guide. It's a totalitarian ruler suppressing the locals' freedom and even punishing them brutally for minor infractions, like 2 people showing affection. When Captain Kirk and his team finally destroy Vol, they expect to free the people. But here's the forbidden truth. They've actually doomed the entire civilization. Why? Because these villagers have lived their entire lives under Vol's control. They have no knowledge of farming, hunting, or basic survival. The Enterprise crew might have won, but at what cost? The locals are left helpless, confused, and vulnerable to the planet's dangers. This episode raises a disturbing question. Who's really the villain? The oppressive computer, or the supposed heroes who destroy their only protector? This moral ambiguity was ahead of its time, but the episode's execution just falls flat. It leaves viewers feeling uneasy, and frankly, frustrated. Skip it or watch with low expectations. It's not just a bad episode, it's a cautionary tale about unintended consequences. Imagine if your life depended on your Wi-Fi router, and then it got destroyed by space explorers. Suddenly, you're in the dark. Would you survive? No? Well, that's exactly what the Apple delivers. Talk about a tech support nightmare in space. Next, we have Star Trek's one and only Halloween episode, Catspaw. When you hear the title, you might expect some spooky thrills. Instead, you get witches, black cats, and a dungeon, but in the most baffling way possible. The villains? 2 powerful beings named Korab and Sylvia, who terrorize the landing party with illusions and magic-like powers. Sounds fun? Maybe, but the execution is painfully slow and borderline ridiculous. And let's not forget one of the most cringeworthy aspects. Ensign Chekhov's terrible wig. Honestly, it's so bad that it distracts from the story entirely. To add insult to injury, the episode wastes a perfect opportunity to showcase Lieutenant Uhura's leadership skills when the senior officers are incapacitated. Instead, she gets sidelined. Catspaw tries to be spooky, but ends up being forgettable, and a perfect candidate to skip on your next Star Trek binge. But hey, if you like so bad it's good, campy sci-fi, this one might be your guilty pleasure. Have you ever watched an episode so bizarre you wondered if the writers were just playing a prank on the audience? Catspaw might just be that episode. What's the weirdest Star Trek moment you've seen? Let me know in the comments. Our third episode to skip is Friday's Child, which attempts to mix Klingon political intrigue with a pregnancy drama. The Enterprise crew arrives on Capella 4 to negotiate a mining contract, but quickly gets caught in a power struggle involving the late leader's pregnant wife, Eileen, played by Julie Newmar. The episode has some solid moments, especially the birth scene, which brings genuine emotion. But it's hard to ignore the tone-deaf moment where Dr. McCoy slaps Eileen. Yes, slap, a scene that feels uncomfortable and out of character for the usually compassionate Bones. This incident alone makes many viewers cringe and question the writing. The Klingons, who usually add tension and excitement, are underused here. Kraz, the Klingon antagonist, doesn't have the presence or threat level of previous villains. Overall, Friday's Child drags without much payoff. It doesn't advance the larger story arcs or add much to character development. Skip it if you want to avoid awkward moments and filler plot lines. We've only just begun revealing the episodes that might be better left in the warp core. The worst is yet to come. If you've been shocked so far, wait until you hear about the next 2 episodes. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. So far, do you agree with skipping The Apple, Catspaw, or Friday's Child? Comment proof if you've suffered through any of these and want more episodes exposed. Stick around for the next video segment where we uncover the remaining Star Trek Season 2 episodes that you can absolutely skip without missing a thing. Now brace yourself for episode 4, Wolf in the Fold. This one had the potential to be a gripping murder mystery with a supernatural twist, a departure from the usual space exploration. Chief Engineer Scotty finds himself accused of a brutal murder he doesn't remember committing. As the tension builds, it's revealed the real culprit is a malevolent alien entity, once believed to be Jack the Ripper. Sounds chilling, right? Unfortunately, the episode is bogged down by outdated sexism and awkward character moments that undermine the suspense. Even Spock, the paragon of logic, makes uncomfortable generalizations about women being more easily terrified, a line that feels both out of place and offensive even by 1960s standards. The horror elements never quite come together, and the episode ends feeling more silly than scary. If you want a good Star Trek horror episode, this definitely isn't it. Skip Wolf in the Fold unless you're a diehard completist or in the mood for some vintage sci-fi awkwardness. Imagine if Spock gave a TED Talk on gender stereotypes. Yeah, not exactly the Vulcan philosophy we signed up for. Finally, the episode you absolutely must skip, the Omega Glory. This one has gone down in Star Trek history as one of the franchise's most infamous failures. The Enterprise crew lands on Omega 4, a planet with startling parallels to Earth. The locals have their own version of the US flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, and even a constitution. Sounds like an intriguing twist, right? But here's the catch. There's no logical explanation for how this alien planet evolved to mirror 20th century America so precisely. The episode's attempts at social commentary fall flat, and the racial stereotypes woven into the story feel jarringly offensive. Captain Ron Tracy, meant to be a complex antagonist, lacks clear motivation, making his actions confusing and unconvincing. And the climactic moment where Kirk solemnly recites the Pledge of Allegiance, well, it's more laughable than moving. The Omega Glory is a perfect example of style over substance, and the kind of episode that makes you wonder how it ever got made. If you want to preserve your love for Star Trek, just skip this one entirely. It's so bad, it almost feels like a secret they didn't want fans to know about. So there you have it, 5 episodes from Star Trek, the original series, Season 2, that are safe to skip, and maybe even necessary to avoid. But what if I told you there's a hidden pattern to these misfires? What if the episodes that fall flat all share a secret production flaw or a hidden agenda? In the next video, we'll dig into what really went wrong behind the scenes. Don't miss it, because what you don't know about Season 2 might change how you see the entire series forever. Did you survive watching any of these episodes? Comment proof. If you agree these should be skipped, or if you think I'm wrong, and if you want to uncover the forbidden knowledge behind Star Trek's bumpy second season, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. What if I told you the real reason some Star Trek episodes in Season 2 fell flat was not just bad writing? Hidden agendas, rushed production, and even network interference played a massive role behind the scenes, secrets the studio never wanted you to know. Season 2 of Star Trek was a make-or-break moment for the show. After a shaky first season, the network demanded more action, more excitement, and faster episodes. This led to writers being pushed to churn out scripts at a breakneck pace, with little time to refine plots or develop characters. Some episodes, like the ones we discussed, were rushed, under-budgeted, and cut corners. Alien sets reused, cheap costumes, and effects that even for 1960s standards look, well, questionable. The result? Episodes that feel incomplete, confusing, or just downright silly. But it wasn't just the money or time. The network executives had their own agenda. They wanted Star Trek to stay family-friendly, which meant censoring themes deemed too dark, too political, or too controversial. Scripts tackling real social issues, racism, war, identity, were watered down or rewritten to avoid upsetting viewers. This censorship explains why some episodes seem to gloss over important topics or twist ideas into confusing, nonsensical stories. The creative team's hands were tied, forced to make compromises that weaken the storytelling. So when you watch these skip-worthy episodes, remember, they're not just bad by accident, they're casualties of outside interference. Have you ever wondered why the iconic trio, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, sometimes feel like they're in completely different shows from one episode to the next? That's a direct result of the chaos behind the camera. If you think that's all, there's more. Behind the scenes, tensions ran high between cast, producers, and writers. William Shatner, Captain Kirk, was becoming increasingly frustrated with the scripts and direction. Leonard Nimoy struggled with the inconsistent portrayal of Spock, sometimes logical and calm, other times emotional and erratic. And DeForest Kelley, Dr. McCoy, was caught between these clashing visions. The result? On-screen chemistry sometimes faltered, making certain episodes feel disconnected or forced. All these factors combined to create a perfect storm. Episodes that missed the mark, confused audiences, and even alienated longtime fans. But the true magic of Star Trek's legacy is that it overcame these obstacles, because when the creative team was given freedom, the show soared to new heights. Want to uncover more forbidden stories about Star Trek's troubled production? Comment proof if you're ready to dive deeper into the secrets of the final season. And don't forget to subscribe for part 2, where we'll expose the most shocking behind-the-scenes battles that nearly destroyed the show. So, there you have it. The hidden reasons behind why some of Star Trek, the original series' Season 2 episodes, didn't quite hit the mark. From rushed productions and secret censorship to behind-the-scenes tensions you never knew about, these skip-worthy episodes tell a story of struggle as much as sci-fi. But here's the thing, even the flawed episodes are part of the legacy that shaped the Star Trek universe we love today. If you learned something new or want to share your own thoughts about these episodes, drop a comment below, and remember to type proof if you believe there's much more beneath the surface of Star Trek than meets the eye. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the most shocking Star Trek secrets. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep exploring the final frontier.